Yo, 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 what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is another exciting installment of the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast, Monday Night Mayhem. I'm your brother, franchise player, Double B Bad Blood, joined by the chemist himself, Mr. Chemical Julian. Julian, what is up, my man?
It is at Chemical Julian on Twitter and Instagram, here with the post Monday Night Raw review on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. Here with the Heat Machine himself, the cause of all the drought in the Pacific Northwest, the franchise player, Bad Blood himself.
Over here wearing my popsicle tank top, looking all
I
studly.
see that. Trying to keep it cool, trying to keep it nice little popsicle shirt.
Well, you know, it was either jump on the podcast with you or go sit in the pool. So I'm gonna do a little bit of both. So, I mean, man, legit needle mover, huh? Let's talk about that. Shit's going on in the wrestling world. As a matter of fact,
a lot of shit around the wrestling world.
yeah, as a matter of fact, today, about 30 minutes ago, I got a text message. The youngest brother of the Usos,
Yes.
Joseph Fatu, Sifa, just got signed and is reporting to the Performance Center in WWE. Another dude going to the WWE. Last week we had Real Faith EJ, Faith Jeffries. She's joining. Man, it's crazy what's going on tonight. There's all kinds of things happening in the world of professional wrestling. But right now, we're here to talk about the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast and Monday Night Raw.
Hey, I got to say, this past Monday Night Raw tonight, I mean, it just ended like 3 seconds ago. Not a bad show. They definitely left the B-level stuff for hour number 2, and they kind of picked it up for hour number 3. In the past, I have complained. I mean, of course, they kicked the show off with all their headliners. They kind of ended it with the headliners, and they kind of sprinkled them in leading into hour 2 and then coming into hour 3. So, you know,
3 hours is too much, man. 3 hours is way too much.
Yeah. Like we said on the past couple of podcasts here, you could do a lot with a 1 hour show. I mean, you could do a whole lot with a 1 hour show. And
look at Rampage from Friday nights.
Yeah.
They get their 1 hour in, they get 3 matches, 2 backstage promos, and it kills. It kills every fucking week,
here's
man.
The thing. I mean, you do your 1 hour show, you get into 3 hours. I mean, you get into 3 matches, you get in your promos, it advances you to the next show, which is Dynamite or even AEW Dark or whatever it is. And it keeps on going, it keeps on recycling. The situation here with Raw is its own show, SmackDown is its own show, NXT is its own show. So this 3 hours is on pause until the next 3 hours for the following week. And, and we as wrestling fans know that we have wrestling fan memory. And so if they didn't do all these recaps, we probably wouldn't remember what happened the last week before anyway.
That's why they have 3 hours of a show, because 45 minutes of the 3 hour show is nothing but recaps.
Yeah, correct.
You know, I mean, that's because Vince thinks you guys are all stupid and you guys don't remember what happened last week. It's really crazy.
What happened 20 years ago. So,
Yeah, it's pretty good, man. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about MVP and Bobby Lashley hosting an open challenge every week. Every week.
So you know what? I kind of like the idea. I've always liked the idea of the open challenge. Cena did it with the United States Championship. Damian Priest looks like he's trying to revive that with the United States Championship. Tonight, what that resulted in was Sheamus coming out, and then Drew McIntyre coming out, and then Bobby Lashley coming out. And what we ended up with was a triple threat match between Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest. And surprisingly, Damian Priest pinned 1, 2, 3 in the ring without interference Drew McIntyre.
Hey, you know what's funny? My boy Simon Miller from Ups and Downs, he has like a counter. How many times people get the distraction or the roll up, the most devastating move of all sports entertainment, the surprise roll up. or disqualifications, right? He has these counters going.
Yeah.
And it's so ridiculous because the WWE will do the same finisher, same finish,
over
300 fucking times a year.
Yes.
So it's really funny because they do pay-per-views, like they have a pay-per-view coming up. So the way they do it is they have the champion lose consistently.
Correct.
Like right before a big show, the champion gets pinned by somebody. The champion loses, which in my opinion is stupid. I mean, do you see football players? I mean, do you see like boxers? Right before a huge boxing match, the boxing champion who's defending the title gets beat by somebody. Then he goes into, I mean, to me, the buy rate goes down.
So here's the thing. And, watching wrestling over the years, you got to ask yourself, are we supposed to believe that because it's not a championship match, does the champion just go, and not put it all into it? And, well, if I get beat, I get beat. Wins and losses don't really count. Because, I mean, wins and losses don't really count. No one's counting wins and losses in WWE. So the champ's like, if I get pinned tonight, it doesn't really matter. I just have to win at the pay-per-view, or I just have to win when the title's on the line.
Well, let me do this real quick. Just in case you want to talk about ringside seats for the return, BCW Worldwide presents the return live October 3rd. Contact Patty Dietz 503-757-3132 or reserve your seats at bcwbooker@gmail.com. Real simple. There's a VIP section. Contact Patty, the VIP section. We're talking about your own bartender, food, a VIP area. It's going to be lit. Like, you're going to think you're at a nightclub. You're going to think you're at a concert, but it's like BCW Worldwide presents the return. The best pro wrestling on the Sunday night in the whole state of Oregon. Trust and believe. I had to put that out there real quick.
that sounds like a party.
Yeah, it's gonna be a party, man. It's gonna be hella lit. Like, if you don't come to this event, you are gonna sadly miss out. I mean, it's I'm just gonna put you this way: follow the BCW Worldwide page on Facebook. Follow the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast every week live here. Listen to us on Spotify, Google, Anchor, all those cool places, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all those cool places. And you will find out more about what's going on with the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast and with BCW Worldwide. Taking the show on the road. There's going to be a huge joint show in the state of Washington. Now, I can give you guys a little bit of the dirt if you want to. So September 18th, your boy the franchise will be defending the OIWA North American Championship.
And that's a good looking finish. I mentioned.
Thank you. Big Red right there. My little redhead girlfriend. Oh, yeah. There she is. I'm defending the belt against the fighting Finnish athlete. The only Finnish athlete in the state of Oregon. Straight from Finland. Mikko Maestro. That's if I get past the championship match I have the week before at Timber Pro Wrestling. Myself versus JB Moonshine for the OIW North American Championship. I'm also the International Heavyweight Champion too, so 2 titles on the line. Maybe. It all depends, but you know what it is. The October 3rd show, the return, I believe it's going to be a night of champions. Every BCW Worldwide title will be on the line. Television title, tag titles, women's champion, ladies championship, BCW Worldwide world title, the No Limits Hardcore Championship, the OIWA North American Championship, whatever. It's all, every championship is going to be on the line. I think there might be a last man standing match. I think there might be a hardcore match. And I think I heard some rumblings that there might be a War Games match. I don't know. You got to tune in to find out. Some crazy shit. Yeah, that's all I can say. Let's skip.
With so many championships on the line, you should call it Evening of Titles.
Wow.
Night of Champions is taken.
Well, I mean, we can call it anything. I mean, we can call it 2 Girls, 1 Cup. I don't give a fuck what we're going to call it. I don't make the names. I just go defend the belt. But I do think it's going to be called an evening of elegance. Sound of your next time of your next sex tape. An evening of elegance.
That sounds a little highbrow for wrestling, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been to some crazy wrestling shows. Let's just say that. Speaking of crazy wrestling shows, Rhea Ripley versus Shayna Baszler. Wow, what a way to open up Raw.
Man, so check this out. So on Raw last week, you had Rhea Ripley pinning Shayna Baszler in their match. And so I guess you were having a rematch this week with Nikki ASH in Rhea's corner and Nia Jax in Shayna Baszler's corner. And, the match starts off with Nia Jax saying, making some comment about, will Rhea Ripley be able to beat, or will Shayna Baszler be able to beat Rhea Ripley? And
now, isn't Nia Jax? Isn't Nia Jax her partner?
Yes. And I said it before and I said it again. Shayna Baszler should be out there beating the brakes off everybody in the women's division.
Remember how she went into the fucking women's elimination chamber and beat the piss out of everybody?
So do you remember the match when she and Nia Jax took the titles, the women's tag team titles, and the way she was stretching Miro's girl and had her arms back and twisted? Yeah. I mean, man, she was tearing them up. She was killing them for a while. And
the sad part is she's a legit shooter. Like she can legit go.
All of a sudden, I mean, come on, man, that makes no sense. But yeah,
Vince McMahon, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so once again, we have Rhea Ripley pinning Shayna Baszler again, and of course, Nia Jax comes in afterwards and does the attack and whatnot. Make no damn sense. It makes no sense. And so I'm sure at some point, Shayna Baszler is going to turn on Nia Jax, and which would turn her face, I guess. But
I don't even. There's no face and heel anymore in the WWE. No one cares. Matt Liskey, the voice of BCW Worldwide. BCW World come back with bigger and better non-stop action. The only house of action. That's right. The BCW Worldwide Arena. Matt Liskey throwing all that shade out there, ladies and gentlemen. Matt Liskey, the voice of the South, of the Northwest. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. all these people popping in talking about BCW Worldwide when we're talking about Raw. Shows you what the superior product is in their eyes.
But so let's get back to our opening match. We ended up with that triple threat match, and move of the night. Well, sorry, the move of that match that we got to see. And I've complained in the past. So last week's Raw, we got to see a burning hammer.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah, we don't get to see pile drivers. We don't get to see Texas trash compactors. We definitely, even when NXT was on Raw, when they were over Saudi Arabia, we didn't get to see a tequila sunrise. None of that stuff. But
you won't be seeing that in WWE anymore either.
Yeah, but Drew McIntyre busts out a Michinoku driver.
Right?
What? Like,
here's
okay, someone goes, hey, man, why don't you go out there and do something a little bit different? He was like, I think I remember how to do that.
He probably got in trouble for that shit, too. They probably were like, hey, what the fuck was that, pal? You're not supposed to be out there wrestling, pal. What the fuck's going on? These people don't pay to see you wrestle.
It's like, I can imagine in the back, Ricochet going over a match saying, so I'm going to hit a 450 splash, and then I'm going to come through, and I'm going to hit a Canadian destroyer. And Vince is like, yeah, no, you're not.
Yeah, and that's exactly when someone comes to me in a match and they say, hey, Blood, we're going to do this, and this. I just look at them and say, nope. We're not doing none of that shit. Sorry.
You're going to punch, you're going to kick, you're going to flip off the ropes.
You're going to get your ass kicked. That's what's going to happen. And that's it. No, I'm just kidding. Speaking of just kidding, though, a tag team match. I don't get this at all, but the Viking Raiders versus Veer and Jinder Mahal.
Do you know
Now,
what the best part about that match was?
to finish,
Well, in the vignette, the Viking Raiders did a little promo. And the funny part is, in their promo, they kind of did their little entrance. So there's a red spotlight behind them, and they come into the camera. And I was like, that kind of looks like the Ascension. But it wasn't. It was the Viking Raiders. Anyway, they got a catchphrase now. And when they stand
unleash
on
the
the camera,
brutality.
they go, raid, 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 raid. And as stupid as I look doing it, so do they.
Well, I happen to know both of them, and I will relay your message to them via their.
Yeah,
I'm going to
not
text them and be like, "Look, my buddy here, the chemist himself, Chemical Julian, the wrestling chemist, says that you guys look fucking stupid."
not the raid, not the raid. Everything they were doing before, like when they were on the Indies, fantastic.
Oh, you mean when they were War Machine? When they were
Yeah,
actually beating the shit out of people?
The raid
Instead of calling them.
There you go.
But you know, here's the thing too. Vince McMahon takes people and he brings them to the WWE, and then he pretends that they never existed. Like
That is
these guys,
100% true.
they were not the War Raiders. They weren't former NWA or IWGP or Ring of Honor tag team champion or any of they didn't exist.
Dusty
Ray Rowe didn't survive a almost a near death experience when he crashed on his motorcycle a few years ago and almost didn't make it out of the hospital. Ray Rowe is, Eric of the Viking Raiders, a Texas legend. Fuck, man, guy's awesome. But then they come to the WWE and they're called the Viking Experience.
Yes.
Like anybody who's ever been to Vegas, when you go down to Vegas, you go down to fucking Fremont, and it's called the Fremont Experience. You're walking through Vegas, you're walking through this big ass tube, and it's the Fremont Experience, right? You got these two big ass Viking ass dudes. You're gonna call them a Viking Experience? That sounds like a horrible drink at a nightclub.
It sounds like a band.
It sounds like an 80s hair band.
Which I'm really glad nobody said that to Vince, because he would have been like, what if we gave him guitars? What if we had him play Celtic rock?
Why don't they come out with those little headsets on talking about we're ready to rock? Fucking Vince. But yeah, so they totally destroyed. Okay, so Veer and Skanky, whatever the fuck his name is, they're the tag team that usually runs with Jinder Mahal. Honestly, I just gotta say this, man. Even if you listen to the commentary, I watched the match back while you were watching the last part of Raw.
Yeah.
And they announced the winners as the Viking Raiders, but Michael Cole calls them the Viking Experience. He says, and the Viking Experience get the pin. I was like, what the fuck?
He can't get out of his head. Hey, so correct me if I'm wrong. So during one of the shows in Saudi Arabia, when they had a lot of the Indian wrestlers coming out, it wasn't Veer and Shanky. Mm-hmm. It was there was a tag team, and the dude with the one with the face paint.
They're with Malcolm Bivens.
Really?
Yep, they were with Malcolm Bivens, and they actually made their stateside debut on NXT.
Correct.
They look like two big ass genies, remember?
Correct. But it wasn't Veer and Shanky. It was one of them and another dude.
Yeah, the other guy's gone.
Wow.
He's gone from the WWE. I can't remember his fucking name, to be honest with you.
Because.
Yeah. It was horrible.
Just because? I mean.
No, okay, so remember when they did that title match? It was Adam Cole versus Keith Lee.
Yes.
Champion versus champion, title versus title. Yes. Now, they recorded that 2 weeks prior.
Yes.
And he was the one that he leaked the information out. He Snapchatted a picture. No, he put a picture on Twitter and said,
Yeah.
"And new unified champion, Keith Lee."
Yeah.
So when he did that, this is during the height of the Wednesday Night Wars.
Yeah.
So when he did, people were like, "Huh, we already know who won that match. Let's go back to NXT to AEW." So they were like, Vince was like, "Hey, pal, you're fired." It's pretty fucked up, but it happened.
Which is crazy because when they debuted on NXT, I mean, they looked like a good tag team together. I mean, they had a good look. They actually had a good match. Their first match, which was during the Greatest Show or whatever, they looked good over there. And the idea that they would split them up just kind of didn't make any sense. But all right.
Nothing that they do makes any sense, man.
I see you, Vince.
I mean, let's look at SmackDown for a second. Becky Lynch returned, and she came back at SummerSlam and she did the whole squash match with Bianca Belair. She drew so much heat from the match, and then they take her and they debut her on SmackDown. She comes out and she tries to pull the heel gimmick, but she's so fucking over with the fans that no one is booing her.
Yeah, it was funny because she did the whole "I apologize for nothing." They cheered her, and I was like,
she was like, "I apologize for nothing at all." They're like, "Yeah." Like literally, she can go, she can come knock on your fucking front door, punch you in the face, call you a bitch, walk up to your kids, punch them in the face, call them brats, and everyone will be like, "Yes, good job, Becky, good job." Like she has that it's the Hall and Nash syndrome. We've talked about this before.
Yeah,
it's the fact that when Kevin Nash and Scott Hall debuted as the NWO and WCW, and they were just attacking people, and they lawn darted Rey Mysterio. The funniest moment in history, when they picked Rey Mysterio up and lawn darted his ass into the side of that trailer. Yep. Dude, that was like one of the funniest moments in the history of professional wrestling. Everyone loved that. So there was no way those guys could get heat. They can go spit on someone's mom, and their mom will probably wipe the spit off and be like, "Yay," high-fiving them. The same shit with Becky Lynch. She's the new. It's funny because she has that Steve Austin mentality. Austin was never a face. Austin was never a heel. Austin just beat everybody up, and the fans fucking loved it. They love the fact that he can talk shit to his boss. Like at one time, he threatened to shoot Triple H.
He did.
And he dropped Triple H and he dropped DX in a car. He dropped them from a crane. He literally committed attempted murder on TV. And the fans loved it.
Didn't he give Stacy Keibler a stunner also?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He walked up to her, clanked beers together with her, gave her a stunner in the middle of the ring. Butt cheeks were all hanging out. It was crazy. But no one booed him. You know, that's the same thing with Becky Lynch. She has the Steve Austin heat where no one's gonna boo her. So it's fucking stupid. But once again, like I said, they try to get her booed. She came out there, she did her thing. People cheered, people got excited, people got happy. Bianca Belair came down, and people still cheered. Cheer for Becky, even though she's like, "I want a rematch." She was like, "Nope," and just got out of the ring, walked away. People were fucking popping their ball sacks. So it is what it is, man. It's just like Bobby Lashley right now. Bobby Lashley has heat, but remember when he was part of that Hurt Business gimmick, they were all bad guys, and everybody loved them.
They sure did. Yeah.
Vince doesn't know how to book faces. That's what it is. Vince doesn't know how to do that.
Well, they also love Bobby Lashley when he was fighting Goldberg too.
Exactly. No one likes Goldberg, and he's the good guy. You got Damian Priest, who was the U.S. champion, like we talked about earlier. He beat a former world champion, Drew McIntyre, after Drew hits a Claymore on Sheamus. So Damian Priest is only getting over because of the whole association with Bad Bunny. I mean, thank God we don't have to see him versus The Miz and Morrison for the 10,000th time.
But remember, he did shake hands with McIntyre afterwards, so they're still friends.
Of course. It's so stupid.
There's still
The
faces.
24/7 thing is funny as hell. Reginald or Reggie, whatever his name is this week. Um,
Last week he was jumping off ice cream trucks.
he did a flip off the ice cream truck. I'm like, what?
Yeah, he ran up. He like ran up a tree, flipped off an ice cream truck, and did some other stuff.
Well, he's a former Circus Soleil guy.
Yeah, he sure is. Very athletic.
So,
I mean, I give him that. All the jumping around and flipping. You want all flippy dippy. I mean, that's him all day, every day.
Flippity doo. He's a parkour guy, and that's what Vince thinks. Vince thinks that that's great. Vince loves the fact this guy can flip off of an ice cream truck, or he can do a handstand, a tuck hand, backflip, whatever. Then you got R-Truth, who's a fucking moron. Him and Tozawa. Tozawa dressed up like a dog. R-Truth was wearing a fucking blonde wig. They're playing frisbee. Like, this is why Raw is the B show.
You know what?
I never thought
it's a pure comedy act. I mean, that's just all it is. It's a
never
pure comedy act.
29 years of me being a professional wrestler, I would ever hear myself say Raw is the B show. Just like fucking right now, USA Network is pissed. USA is pissed that SmackDown, who's on Fox, has all the fucking main stars.
They do.
I mean, USA's rating.
Okay, so what are you gonna do? I mean, here's the thing. If you take all the main stars off of SmackDown and you put them on Raw, what's going to happen? They're not going to be stars anymore. It's about how you book them. It's about the storylines you put them in. I mean, you got to remember that when Jinder Mahal was on SmackDown, dude was champion and he was main eventing, and he actually wasn't doing bad when he had Great Khali come out with him, and he got great heat when he had the announcer guy, and then he had the Bollywood boys with him. I mean, he was actually doing something decent over on SmackDown. But now, now he's running around with Veer and Shanky running around from a sword. He's been running from a sword for the past month and a half.
I mean, let's think about this real quick. If a dude come after you with a sword, yeah, he gonna cut you. That was the whole purpose of their fucking SummerSlam match. It was like, can Drew stab him with the sword? The sword that his family killed. What was it?
Loch Ness Monster.
Loch Ness Monster.
Bigfoot. I don't know.
Stupid. But look, heaven help us. If Nick Khan gets his way, he'll make Raw a 4-hour show. If Raw was a 4-hour show, I would fucking kill myself.
I mean, what can you? If Raw was a 4-hour show, you would have to hire more people.
Yeah. Or he can hire Timbo. He can't hire Timbo, one of our producers here on the podcast. He can't hire Tim. We need Tim. But you don't want to work for the WWE anyway. You might get hired, and 2 weeks later you're fired because of budget cuts.
You want to see some burnout. I mean, get a 4-hour show going.
Shit. All right. Look at this. You have to laugh at the stupidity of the 24/7 belt saga. That is true. That belt is so fucking stupid. Well, Mick Foley was like, yeah, so I made a mistake when I did this.
Yeah.
Man.
So, man, it's one of those things where Mick was like, all right, hardcore title, defended 24/7. All right, fine.
That's what Vince told him. Listen here, pal. We're going to give you a belt, pal. And this belt, pal, is going to go 24/7, pal. Yeah, it's.
And then if you go to Wikipedia and you look up the list of people who held that belt, I mean, they show that there was one match from, I think, Mania or something, where it changed hands like 7 or 8 times in one match, and so it's one of these things, and this is one of the dumb things. For a championship belt, this is a belt that has changed hands where one person snuck up behind another one and rolled them up for a 3 count.
Once again, shout out to my boy Simon Miller with his surprise roll-up counter.
And so it's like, so what does that say about the title? That people holding it get surprised by a roll-up, 1, 2, 3, and that's it? Okay. And it happens consistently? Now,
what does it say about the title when R-Truth has held the title, has held more WWE championships than
Yeah.
anybody in history.
Now, when you had Hurricane hitting people with frying pans, at least that was amusing
True.
because it was a hardcore title.
The whole 24/7 title was trying to live off the gimmick that Crash Holly created.
Correct.
Crash Holly. I remember one time Crash Holly,
Super
rest in
heavyweight.
peace. Crash was the super heavyweight.
Come walking up the scale. Yeah.
5'5", 180 pounds, the super heavyweight. I remember one time he was chilling at McDonald's and he got beat for the title in the fucking ball pit.
Yes. Yes.
Oh man. Or he was on the road and he fell asleep in the car. And here's the thing that makes it so funny for me. Like the referees, the referees are having so much fun with this.
Yeah.
I remember he lost the belt to Eva Marie, who I'm going to talk about next. He lost the belt to Eva Marie because he was laying on the ground in catering, and Eva Marie tripped and fell on top of him, and the referee happened to count 3. So speaking of Eva Marie,
yeah, she got beat down.
Oh my god! Here's my thing about Eva Marie. I'm glad she got beat down. I'm glad Doudrop beat her because I'm so sick and tired of these social media girls, these TikTok girls, these social media influencer gimmicks.
But see, here's the bad part about this. In the whole Eva Marie Doudrop thing, it's been so self-contained to those two that it's not elevating Doudrop to push her into the main women's title roster. It's just a feud between her and Eva Marie, and it seems like the rest of the women's roster doesn't exist beyond them. So even if she beats Eva Marie, what does that mean? It doesn't elevate her or push her to any other further status. It doesn't suddenly make it like, oh man, I can't wait to see Doudrop face Nikki Ash or Charlotte or Naomi or Carmella or something like that. You're just like, Doudrop beat Eva Marie. That's not really saying much.
Here's the thing too. Piper Niven, Viper, amazing athlete on the Indies.
Absolutely.
She was part of the Mae Young Classics. She's a fucking amazing worker. And then they give her this stupid gimmick and they call her Doudrop. Okay. I don't know. And it's almost as bad as Karrion Kross, which we're going to talk about next.
Because, but actually, it's kind of good because on her Twitter handle, she calls herself Double D.
There's so many sexual innuendos with that girl, man. Yeah. It's so funny. But and she's so like innocent. That's what makes it even funnier. So crazy. So you got this whole stupid thing with Karrion Kross. Is it just me, or does he look like a lot of podcasters, a lot of people I listen to, and a lot of people that I talk to say he looks like he looks like Super Shredder met the Gimp at a sex shop, and that Vince's big oily muscle man, Vince's big oily muscle man dominatrix fantasy is now Karrion Kross. I mean, you take his hot wife, who's like, in my opinion, the best part of his gimmick.
So Scarlet Boudreaux. What is she going to come out dressed like?
If he is dressed like a dominatrix, what do you think she's going to come out like?
I mean, because hey Vince, the whole
Vince loves blondes. Vince loves blondes. Yeah.
Vince loves blondes, but the whole tits and ass thing is over. I mean, who's going to be the sub?
Vince.
So,
hey pal, you think your wife will be able to step on me with her heels? Hey pal, she'll step on my balls. I'll give you a raise. These huge grapefruits. You can see Vince saying all that shit too. That's what makes it even funnier.
So Karrion Kross looking like Lord Mediamungus coming out there with a stolen demolition gimmick.
You know what's funny? He you said Lord Humongous. Sid Vicious actually started out at USWA as Lord Humongous in the same fucking gear. And I never knew Karrion Kross was a member of Demolition. Axe, Smash, Crush, and now Cross.
Yeah. Hey, our Crush passed away, right?
Yes, Brian. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they should have a which. Okay, so talk about the combination of two gimmicks. You have Demolition come back and repo their gimmick.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, that's fucking funny. And you know, we're gonna end up getting in trouble behind some of this shit. I don't
You
even
can do
care.
Demolition and Repo Man at the same time.
Let's do this real quick. Let's go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Drive me insane! All these rules are lame, have been taking all the fun out! Drive me insane! All these rules are lame, have been taking all the fun out! Drive me insane! All these rules...
When you want to get your hair cut, you go get your hair cut right. You head down to Big D's Barbershop. Big D's Barbershop, Vancouver, Washington's best and brightest. 1019 Main Street, Vancouver, Washington, where you can go get your hair lined up, cuts, fades, shampoos, conditions, and all the great things that go with supporting a local barbershop in a local business area. You can also reach them online at www.bigdsbarbershop.com. Go get your haircut right.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Great futures who are at the Boys and Girls Club, and I had to give my boy Adam Woods a quick shout out because he loves that 503 original commercial.
Shout out to Adam Woods kicking out at 2 3/4 from COVID. Hope to see you back on the podcast soon.
There's so many people I know in the last like 2 weeks have gotten COVID. Man, stay safe. God damn. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 people in Tennessee. I got, one person in California being Adam, and then I got Lone Star here. Fuck, man. It's crazy. I think everyone stay fucking safe, man. Speaking of staying safe, you can stay safe by buying shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and tees at 503 Original. You can go to www.503originals.com. Cop all that great shit. I'm trying to get them to make this popsicle tank top right here just for you guys. Nothing says tasty like a popsicle tank top, man. I'm just saying. 503originals.com, ladies and gentlemen.
Get your bomb stick right now, ladies.
That's why this is not the Roundtable After Dark. God damn, you guys. There's a reason why we get in trouble on this show so much. We've been demonetized so many times. It's crazy, but it's also funny. Speaking of funny, Karrion Kross in his dominatrix outfit. Oh my God! It's the Doomsday style suplex in the cross jacket for the win on Humberto Carrillo. Has Humberto Carrillo won a fucking match in 2021?
So Humberto Carrillo, last time we saw him, he was doing the Lover Man gimmick with Nia Jax, wasn't he?
Isn't he the one that shoved a rose up someone's ass? Yeah, it was like
I don't know about that part. He was like, giving roses to ladies. I don't know about him shoving a rose up, sodomizing.
He shoved a rose on the dude's ass on Raw, and I was like, "This is very what's the word I'm looking for? Very disturbing,
Yeah,
to say the least.
he Steinerized them with some frozen.
Yes. Oh shit, man. God, man, Lynette keeps burning herself.
Hey, guess what else we got this week?
What?
We got Xavier Woods again without Kofi Kingston.
Well, you know, wait. Before we go to that great match, let's talk about the Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair versus Nia Jax.
Why?
Man, who would have fucking thought that was going to happen?
So
Non-title, of course.
Yeah. Of course, it's non-title. And again, you know, it's like
it's non-title because Nia Jax won a match. She beat the Raw Women's Champion. So that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. How Vince, and she's probably going to end up wrestling. She'll probably get a title shot next week on Raw because that's what Vince does.
We've got Extreme Rules coming up, so we might drag out to them.
Oh God, no.
And if I remember correctly, so what used to be
another tables match?
The whole purpose of Extreme Rules was you had like various hardcore type matches, whether it was a tables match or something like that. And I thought most of the matches were no DQ. I could be wrong. So, you know, Charlotte didn't do too bad in tables matches, so this could be her chance to shine against Nia Jax. And hey, real quick sidebar to all the Star Trek fans out there, WWE totally dropped the ball when they had Nia Jax teaming up with Tamina, because when they came out together dressed the same, they looked like the Duras sisters from the Klingon.
They did.
And they really could have rolled with that gimmick. I mean, they didn't necessarily have to put the spine foreheads on them, but they really could have had like a Duras sisters gimmick and really just, you know, reeled in the sci-fi fans, because we know wrestling, comics, and sci-fi all go together. But anyway, that being said, so Charlotte does pretty good in tables matches, as we saw before. I think she and Sasha had a tables match where I think the table wasn't breaking. And I mean, Sasha's like, you know, $105 anyway. She kept bouncing off the table.
Oh, she kept bouncing through the table.
Yeah, the table wasn't breaking.
It was like, no, bitch, this table is breaking.
Yeah.
And the table won the tables match.
But Nia Jax going through a table. She going through a table. That's going to happen. And I think she and Charlotte could definitely wrap up a feud there. I mean, hopefully it's not her and Shayna Baszler at Extreme Rules.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be. Oh my God! Give me 1 second. This I gotta answer this message. I can't believe it. I will explain to you guys in a minute what this is all about.
In the meantime, this
I hate when someone asks you. I hate when someone asks you a question. They're watching the goddamn podcast. They're watching this live, and they're asking questions. And I'm like, why are you texting me, asking me a question? Like, don't you see? I am live on the air.
Make a ticket.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. This shit drives me crazy.
Hey, as long as they're asking where to get those 503 originals, it's all good.
I mean, you want to know, ladies and gentlemen, if you're asking me a question about that, it's real simple. You just go to www.503originals.com. You can buy a shirt, a hat, a beanie, sweatsuits, joggers. Dude, they got everything. They even got fucking cozies for your beer. You want a cozy for your beer? Some of y'all like to drink those White Claws and those Trulies. Put that shit in there too. I'm just saying. You can put anything in there. They have hats, they have beanies, they have hoodies, they have tracksuits, they have everything. 503originals.com, ladies and gentlemen, go buy the merch. I'm telling you, you'll love it. If you really, you know what? If you really want some cool shit, ladies and gentlemen, you go to prowrestlingtees.com/rated2G, the number 2, the letter G. That is prowrestlingtees.com/rated, like in a movie rating, rated 2G. Go buy a shirt, support your boys, support the podcast. Man, I'm telling you, we got Chemical Julian on the line. This man over here mixing shit up on a daily, and then he comes on the podcast, mix shit up on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. In the comments, anyone in the comments, answer this question. How would you feel if Chemical Julian, the chemist, the chemical wrestling genius, was to do a show, do a like a Raw, a SmackDown, or a AEW Dynamite, or for that matter, a AEW Rampage review on the podcast for you guys? What do you guys think? Would you guys like that shit? If you would like that shit, give me a thumbs up in the chat, or say yes, you would like it. Because
totally honest and unbiased.
Man, just like we are on this podcast, we ain't an AEW podcast, we're not a WWE podcast. We are a podcast for the people. We're like John Laurinaitis back in the early 90s, 2000. We got people power up in this motherfucker, right?
You tell him, boss.
People power. Got me over here like John Laurinaitis. So yeah, my boy over here.
We call the good angles, we call the bad angles. And we appreciate wrestling for what it is.
And ladies and gentlemen, we want you to be able to come to this podcast every week and not have to worry about watching 3 hours of Raw. Or if Nick Khan has his way, 4 hours of Raw.
Hey,
we will go ahead and sacrifice for you.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. I did a rough draft run of a Raw review, and I condensed 3 hours into 15 minutes.
That was good.
So
that's good.
I'm saving time in your day and your life.
Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. 3 hours. So that means Julian fucking broke down 2 hours and 45 minutes of Raw and 15 minutes for you. If he does not love you, if you don't think he loves you guys are sadly mistaken.
The most amazing thing is you're going to listen to 15 minutes of me speaking and you're going to go, how did they make that in 3 hours? That's like when you go out and order crab cakes. You know it's going to be mostly filler, but you eat it anyway and you go, damn, that was mostly filler.
That's true. That's true.
Somehow, some way, man, they still get 3 hours in there. And I know there's commercials, but yeah.
So someone was just messaging me asking me about the cross that I wear. I'm not wearing a cross today because, once again, before I started this podcast, I was going to the pool. As you can tell, I'm wearing the swimming pool attire. And you know what? I'm wearing shorts, too.
Got on the swim trunks, and at least he's not wearing floaties.
I mean, I have in my backyard, I have this big ass pool, but I have this sloth, this inflatable like sloth in my pool. It's my little pool floaty. It has like 2 cup holders, so I can drink my Crown and Coke or whatnot while I'm in the pool chilling, looking at the stars. And so I was going to the pool and I was like, oh man, I forgot. It is almost 8 o'clock. It is time for me to jump online and do my thing with Julian, and then I can go into the pool. So I don't wear jewelry in the pool because, you don't do that. That's just
because, it doesn't get dark up your way anyway until like about 10.
Well, fuck, it's dark as shit right now. Oh, man. Anyway, John Morrison versus Omos. That's
it was a squash match. It was a squash match. And hey, somehow, some way, I didn't know this, but John Morrison is the host of Moist TV, which
America's Moist Wanted.
America's Moist Wanted. You know the bad part is, I'm not gonna say the bad part. You know the funny thing is,
that is the bad part.
I went to a PCW show down here in Long Beach, California, out of Wilmington, and saw Rob Van Dam out there, saw John Morrison out there, and I mean, I had heard him on a podcast, and I thought he he was trying to do the whole movie thing. In fact, he just made a movie.
John Morrison or RVD?
John Morrison. John Morrison had made a movie, and I think he wrote, produced.
He was on the Glow series for a while too.
I never saw the. No, that's wrong. No, I did see some of the Glow series.
He was he was the trainer on the Glow series.
Okay. But he did the PCW show, and then he heard him on the podcast, and it sounded like he had gone full indie, and then bam, he shows up back in WWE. And so
he was Johnny Impact. He was Johnny fucking
he was Johnny Mundo. He was
Johnny Mundo from Lucha Underground. He was Johnny.
I forget what he was on PCW. He was Johnny something else too.
I don't know. Maybe it was Johnny on the spot. I don't know.
But now he's fighting AJ's own personal colossus, almost.
The 7-foot tall ninja. Wait, he's not ninja anymore. I forgot. 7-foot tall doorman. Wait. He's not a doorman anymore either. He's a bodyguard. That's what he is. Because Vince doesn't want you to remember Vince doesn't want you to remember Raw Underground as the doorman. Him and Dabba-Kato. General Aziz.
He's a personal colossus, not to be confused with a corn-fed colossus. He's a personal colossus.
Oh, okay. Or the Colossus.
Well, what do you say? You can't topple the colossal. As soon as Saxton or whoever said that, like, you can't topple the colossal Omos, I was like, oh man, there's a shirt. Someone's gonna have. You can't topple the colossal. But
Saxton is such a fucking idiot, man. He's such a fucking idiot.
But there it was, and I said to myself, there goes the T-shirt. Can't topple the colossal. So,
right.
Yeah, squash match, and this is what he gets for breaking with the Miz, and he came out with his moist sticks or whatever he calls them.
His drip sticks.
Yeah, drip sticks.
Drip sticks.
And Omos slaps that on. Yeah, pretty much the match ends when Omos hits him with the double-handed choke slam and pins him. It wasn't an overhanded chop.
No, that's Kali. You can't steal Kali's get down. That's Kali's shit.
It wasn't a claw, so he gets a double-handed choke slam.
Oh man.
But like immediately after that match, so AJ was coaching him from ringside, and like immediately after that match, Xavier Woods comes down the aisle and his match with AJ starts.
Now, I want to do something on the podcast. I want to sit with you and George Hermosa and Adam Woods when he's better, and Eddie from the RPG or RPPG podcast.
Yeah.
I want to sit with you guys. I want to do a fantasy booking. I'll give you guys a topic, and you guys can fantasy book the match, the storyline for the match as you see fit. And you know what we'll do? Record it. We'll air it on the podcast and have the fans vote to see who won. That's interactive right there, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying to make this podcast channel an interactive channel. Like you see, the 503 original logo is still there because we want you to go buy the shirts. I just forgot to take it off. We want you guys to be interactive. We want to make this podcast channel an interactive channel for everything. Tony DeBurn, the other co-host of the show, was actually thinking about doing watch-alongs.
Watch-alongs is great.
When the podcast started, we were doing watch-alongs. But what I want to do is this Sunday is AEW. Was it Saturday? Saturday is AEW's All Out. I want to do an All Out live reaction show. Like we watch All Out,
okay.
Like you, me, and whoever else we're going to get on the podcast. We watch the show, and then we'll react to it, and we'll do it live. That way, we can tell fans, who aren't paying to watch the show, hey, this is what's going on All Out. Blah 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 blah. We can give our 2 cents on what's happening on the show,
okay.
And like we do our prediction show. We can do that. We can make it interesting for the fans.
So definitely a fantasy booking show is right up my alley. Shout out to my man Ramon Carter down in San Antonio, Texas. We do fantasy booking versus Google Chat day in and day out, man.
Oh my God, bring him on the show, man. Bring him on the show. Let's do that.
So it tell you, hey, wrestling fans always have their input as far as what they'd like to see or what they should think happens and what makes sense.
I'm down for that. We can schedule that on the calendar once we get done with the podcast. Dude, I am so down for the fantasy booking get down because it shows you how we, the people who watch the show, will actually book the show. Because us as fans, we know what we want to watch. We know what we want to see. Some of these guys, they're stupid. They like whoever is running the book at the WWE on Raw obviously isn't watching SmackDown. They obviously are not watching SmackDown because as much as I hate to say this, the WWE's product is stale and it's full of shit.
Hey, let me tell you about how stale it is. Number one, so when I watched SmackDown this past Friday, number one, Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode came out, and I said, "Holy shit! I didn't know this still worked for the company." Number two, I said, "They're still a tag team."
They have matching gear.
And they have
they're
like
legit tag team now. They have an entrance together and everything.
Dirty Dogs or something. I was like, they're a tag team.
Yeah, the Dirty Dogs.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They're a tag team. Wow, they're still around. And then I finally got reminded that they were a tag team because, I got reminded that Dolph Ziggler still worked there because he was in the Chili's commercial.
Oh yeah, with Natalia and those guys.
Yeah, and this is where WWE dropped the ball. It should have been a Fridays commercial because when Baron Corbin showed up, he should have had
he was in it.
He should have had on his old Fridays vest. And for them to keep on going with the whole broke Baron Corbin gimmick, he should have been working there.
Oh no! Didn't you see he won the lottery? He won big in Vegas last week.
No.
He fucking hit the lottery.
Happy Corbin.
He's happy Corbin now. Hey, I don't write this shit. I just report it.
Like Happy Hogan, he's Happy Corbin. Come on.
He is happy. He is Happy Corbin. Look. It was so funny because like he came down to the fucking ring with his slot machine music playing, almost as bad as a choo choo train shit for Braun. The slot machine music played. He fucking comes down to the ring, looking all pimped out. He's got his hair cut now. He's got clean clothes on. You know. If I wrote that story, look, we'll fantasy book him right now. If I were to write the story for him, he would lose a match. His wife would kick him out. He would be sleeping in he would go from town to town with Raw or whatever, SmackDown, sleeping in the fucking, I'd have him sleeping in the camera truck. And then he gets caught and he runs away. So when he's going to get food, he sneaks into catering and he fucking steals food and catering and he steals someone's food. And they get pissed, and they have a match. So now they want to kick his ass because he stole the fucking food. And I'll make him a face because like people will feel so bad for him that people will come to the show with fucking bags of food and hand it to him. Then I would have had him show up in Vegas with a fucking card swiper, go out to the ring, and with a sign that says "We're wrestle for food." I'm telling you. Wrestling fans will eat that shit up. Someone will go up to I would fucking go over to him and be like, beep, here's $1. Beep, here's $1.
You know what?
Dude, in the Allegiant Stadium at SummerSlam, he could have made like $100,000.
He would have made some bank. The funny thing is that wrestling over food is on par with that time where Chris Jericho spilled coffee on Kane, and I totally bought that. Yeah.
See,
dude, I totally bought that. And here's the thing. When he came down with talking about how he won money at the casino, you could tell he didn't buy it. You could tell he was not buying the storyline, and he was not he was just kind of like, and so that's why, as the fans, everyone else is just kind of like, "Nah, we liked you better when you were broke." So at some
Exactly.
point,
This is why no one buys this shit. Because see, the people who are writing these stories, and for one, here's the thing: you can't hire a Hollywood writer or someone who doesn't know shit about wrestling to be the person writing the story.
correct.
It legitimately has to be someone who's been in that ring, someone who does this shit on a weekly basis, someone that knows the ins and outs of the business. Because see, as a wrestler, I've been a wrestler for 29 years. I've been a fan for 31. See what I'm saying? So I'm a fan first. I watch everybody's matches. I'm the first dude at the building, and I'm watching every fucking person's match. When I travel around the country, I watch everybody's matches because I'm a student of the game. I want to learn constantly. So I'm watching them evolving. I'm growing like a fucking Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? Like I fucking I fucking evolved, man. I went from being Charizard to fucking Charmeleon to fucking Charizard. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm kind of a nerd. I know that shit. But like I'm blowing up, you know what I'm saying? I'm blowing up. That's what I'm saying. So the point is, when you write a story or when you're involved in the storytelling part of wrestling, you should know what it's like to be a wrestler, to be in a position to play the role that you want them to play. Because remember that girl that just got fired from the WWE? She was calling Bobby Lashley, Bobby Ashley. Yeah. Is he the world champion, Bobby Ashley? Like, man, the fucking people's name.
Man, so look, so this weekend after watching SmackDown, I said to myself, it would have been the shit. So you used to watch Martin, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember when Brumman was selling those Woody Hutton t-shirts?
Yes.
All right.
That should have been Baron Corbin.
What if Baron Corbin was selling some bootleg WWE t-shirts and he was selling some Bobby Ashley t-shirts that was like a picture of him that was supposed to be Bobby Lashley? That would have been the shit. And he had like a website up, and he was selling just like all kind of bootleg t-shirts, like him posing like Roman Reigns, and he like misspelled the name on there, and the shit was just all
Roman Reigns.
I mean, you
the big og.
He could have been coming to the ring and like stealing people's gear and like selling it online,
right?
Or asking people like, "Hey, can you autograph this for me?" And then selling online, or selling outside the arena.
Man, see, this is what I'm talking about.
Just to make some money, just to get paid, you know.
This is what I'm talking about. See, as a fan, I would have thought that shit was hilarious. I would have tuned in every fucking week just to see what other stupid shit he would have did.
Man, I'm telling you, they could have cashed.
That's why people like R-Truth. That's why people like R-Truth. Like, don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, R-Truth is a decent wrestler. I mean, he's been in the WWE for a long fucking time, so obviously he's doing a good job, right? But he is a comic act that does stupid shit, but people are like, dude, I gotta fucking tune in next week to see what stupid shit he's gonna do next week.
Yeah,
that's how you get the views. That's how they're always talking about the demographic, the 18 to 40 demographic. It's like what TV show is that? Rick and Morty. Okay, I got a girlfriend who watches Rick and Morty. She fucking loves this show. She's like fucking 30 years old. She loves the fuck out of Rick and Morty.
I'm Pickle Rick.
We talk, right? We talk about this shit all the time. Every time I talk to her, she's like, I text her one day, I'm like, hey, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm watching the fucking new episodes of Rick and Morty. Right? So the comic writers for Rick and Morty write so many other things that you watch those things because of the comic writers for Rick and Morty. Now the Loki, remember the TV show Loki, the Loki series?
Yeah.
That series was funny as fuck. And you know what was funny? Because the guys from Rick and Morty wrote that.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I'm bringing these guys up is because a couple of those the comedy scenes, the comedy things that you see with him and Nia Jax doing the whole thing, and with him and Tozawa and like all the funny shit that he does.
Yeah.
It's because the writers for Rick and Morty are writing some of the stuff for the WWE.
Wow.
But they're writing only the comedy things, and they're the reason why it's so good is because they're wrestling fans.
Yeah.
It's like being the booker of a wrestling company. I will book a match that I want to see, not as a wrestler, but as a fan. I'd be like, fuck, man. You know, it'd be a really great match. AJ Styles versus Xavier Woods. It's an awesome match because AJ can play AJ can be funny.
Yeah.
But AJ can work. He works his ass off. He is the face that runs the place.
Yeah.
And then Xavier Woods is funny as fuck. The whole New Day gimmick is funny as shit. Those guys will have you peeing on yourself with laughter. They're that good. They're funny. But they can work. So you got AJ Styles versus Xavier Woods, and the match was amazing. Like, you know, it was amazing.
You went from you went from one submission to the next. You end up in the calf crusher
Flawlessly.
You had the false finish. You know what? And this is, as a wrestling fan, so you remember the match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, when Kevin Owens touched the rope with one single finger?
Yes.
So in this match, you had Xavier Woods pinning AJ Styles in the corner near the ropes, and he grabbed his arm and hooked it down so he couldn't grab the ropes.
Exactly.
From a wrestling standpoint, that makes sense. And you as a fan go, oh, look, he's trying to keep him from grabbing the ropes because it makes sense. You know, instead of you telling him, well, don't bother doing that because, you know, everybody's just going to think, oh, he's so dazed, he just can't remember to grab for the ropes. You know, and it's those little things that just count in the totality of these matches.
Mm-hmm.
And so even with AJ winning with the calf crusher, it doesn't bring Xavier Woods down. They just had a good match together.
That actually built, in my opinion, that gave him more validity.
Correct. So that was rather enjoyable. And, you know, Omos didn't stick his nose in the ring. He didn't interfere, try to grab nobody. We didn't have Big E run in. We didn't have Kofi. Well, Kofi is out for one reason or another. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, the reports are weird, but I don't want to get into what the reports say because some of the stuff is not like corroborated, you know. So I don't want to be like, oh, by the way, he has this or he hurt this, and it's like, oh no, he, you know, pulled his pinky toe or something, like, you know, some stupid shit. But but you know, like and with AJ winning that match, it just solidified AJ as, you know, like I said, the face that runs the place. But also, you know, the fact that Xavier Woods is doing the most. I mean, he's
Consequences Creed, man.
Yeah, that's right. Former Impact Wrestling X Division champ right there, you know?
He was tag team champion with Jay Lethal at one point.
That's right. And he wore the fucking Apollo Creed fucking Living in America or Rocky.
He sure did.
Oh, man. He actually wrestled AJ Styles in Impact too.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so go on to the main event of that show.
So the main event, we had Team RK Bro.
I just gotta say this. RK Bro. I am not a Matt Riddle fan. Like, I can't get behind Matt Riddle. But Randy Orton.
How do you think Randy Orton is enjoying this?
It's his fucking storyline. He wanted this.
Did he though?
Yes, he wanted this storyline. I'm like,
so he's tag teaming.
Why would he want this shit?
So he's tag teaming. He's doing a little bit, you know, easier matches, a little bit less. I mean, last week he got to beat up Omos with a scooter.
Yeah. You know. He's trying to find his comedic chops. Because don't get me wrong, Riddle is funny in a pot smoker.
Yes.
Fucking what? I'm trying to think of that
Beavis and
Half
Butthead?
Baked. Half Baked. He reminds me of the dude from
One of my
Half
favorite
Baked.
movies.
Yeah, I love Half Baked. You know, my favorite scene in Half Baked is when he's like, "I'm going to the store.
Who's on
Anybody
lunch
want
pail?
anything?" And he's like, "Yeah, man. What was that stuff we used to get? Some pizza, some chips, some licorice. Oh, and what's that stuff we used to get back in high school? Oh yeah." Mm-hmm. and and then the one dude's like, "Yeah, man, and some abba zabbas, man. Yeah, and a pepperoni
Oh,
pizza, man, with some
oh,
anchovies. Yeah, man, lots of anchovies." I'm like, yeah. And he's like, fucking killer, B. That dude reminds me of Riddle.
oh yeah.
Like Riddle does a promo. He's like, "Yeah, bro, I'm gonna do this, bro. Yeah, bro. Bro. Bro, yeah. Bro. How many fucking times you gonna say bro, man?
That's his gimmick, bro.
It's so ridiculous because he's so laid back. He's the vocal version of Orange Cassidy.
Yeah,
I don't get Orange Cassidy either, so I should
Vocal
fucking tell you something.
yeah. So, you know, of course, we've got the Almighty and MVP versus RK Bro. From the get-go, you know that MVP is going to get pinned.
He's the most valuable player. Or the most valuable pimp, whatever he calls himself. Montel Vontavious Porter.
What I was really surprised about is, well, no, I think almost did interfere at some point during the match. He and
AJ.
Randy got into it outside the match, but they didn't interfere, causing a loss, causing the titles to switch hands or anything. But yeah, Riddle did hit a floating bro.
The floating bro.
To
which, ladies and gentlemen, is just a corkscrew moonsault. That's all it is. It's a corkscrew plancha. That's all it is. But he calls it the floating bro.
Bro.
Because a bro is floating through the air.
Okay. It's a floating bro.
That's what I think of the floating bro. I don't get the character. I don't get Riddle. I know he's like a former MMA guy who is a legit shooter. Like, I get it. I get he wrestles barefoot. I get it. He jumps up in the air and flips his flip flops off, and a dragon or a viper on a scooter rolls through. Like, I just don't understand.
It's a viper. It is a viper on a scooter.
I didn't know vipers rode scooters, but
a very happy viper.
Every day.
A viper.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Sorry. So anyway, MVP and Lashley, challenge for the tag team titles. Lashley is the current champ, the main champion on the roster right now, and I mean it's a good match. It's a great match. Yeah. Anytime you get MVP in a match, we can just talk, and then you get Randy Orton in a match, and it's just like, there it is. Good shit.
Yeah. So 2 weeks. So we're about a week and a half in now. No sign of Brock Lesnar. They talked about him on SmackDown, which actually that segment was good because the Bloodline was kind of sweating Paul Heyman, saying,
"Oh my god, that was so funny."
You know he's gonna be here.
Paul.
You know he's gonna be here.
Paul, like he's about to piss himself. He was so scared.
Yeah. You know he's gonna be here. What's up with that?
I'll tell you though, I want to see a Heyman on the pole match.
Paul Heyman.
You know that's gonna happen. Paul Heyman on the pole match. It's gonna be Paul Heyman in a Shark Tank. They haven't had the Shark Tank above the ring since like WCW. Yeah, man, do that. Yeah, bro, do that. Put bro inside the cage, bro.
I still want my coal miner's glove on a pole match. You know what I really want? I want them to bring back spin the wheel, make the deal.
Oh my God, that was Halloween Havoc.
Yeah,
WCW Halloween Havoc. Spin the wheel, make the deal.
spin the wheel and it tells you
Wait,
what
you know
kind of
what's
match
really
you're gonna
cool?
have.
What if they do Cyber Sunday?
That's the one where you
I'll
vote,
tell you a
right?
story about Cyber Sunday. Yeah, I'll tell you a story about Cyber Sunday. So Cyber Sunday was a pay-per-view that they put on. And in the pay-per-view, the fans actually got to vote online for the stipulation of the match, which kind of made the bookers pissed off because they were like, we're going to put Bad Blood and Chemical Julian in a hair versus hair match. And then the fans voted a false count anywhere. But they announced the hair versus hair. And they're like, oh, it's a hair versus hair match. And one fan was like, no, man, that's false count anywhere.
Yeah.
So that never happened. But Vince likes to throw stipulations out at the last second. Like, look what he did at SummerSlam. If John Cena wins, he becomes a Universal Champion, and Roman has to leave the WWE.
Yeah.
Like, just no build up, no behind it. But if you're out of here.
Well, remember, Roman said that on SmackDown. He said, "If you beat me, I'm going to leave WWE. I'm going to leave WWE." He kind of said it out the blue, and I was like, "Oh, so that means you're going to win?"
Of course, he totally gave away the finish right there.
That was like when Steve Austin fought Kane for the championship, and it was like, if Kane loses, he was going to set himself on fire or some shit. And so I was like, well, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, Steve Austin's going to lose.
Yeah, that's right. I don't get it. I laugh at these stupid stipulations, like it'd be a stipulation like, let's talk about stipulations. Drew McIntyre, if you lose, you never get a shot at the championship ever again, as long as Bobby Lashley's champion. Okay, let's put you in a Money in the Bank where you can get the suitcase to get a shot.
Now hold on.
What next? The Royal Rumble?
Now hold on. I wasn't mad at that. They said
I was, because that right there says that they think you're stupid. Like, oh, that doesn't count.
It's kind of your back door in. It's your it's your sneaky way to get your shot back at it.
Okay, no, let's just call it what it really is. It's the WWE. You guys are all stupid. For instance, they had that,
come on.
Those
remember Brock Lesnar showed up.
Those championship contender matches. Yeah, but I mean, like, look how stupid they think you are. Championship contender matches. What? Like they had that whole Nikki ASH versus Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley when she was the champ. She had to beat them in order to qualify to be the champ. What the fuck kind of shit is that? It's all stupid. But anyway, going back to the main event. RK Bro retains the championship. I guess they're setting up a feud with AJ and almost over the titles again. Because
SummerSlam Rewind.
It's going to go down the greatest. It's going to go down at the WWE's latest pay-per-view, Crown Jewel. Oh wait, didn't they already have that pay-per-view, Crown Jewel?
Wait, isn't what's first, Extreme Rules or the Crown Jewel or
I think Extreme Rules is like 2 weeks away, but okay. I think the Crown Jewel thing's happening sooner.
So at Crown Jewel, we get Goldberg and Lashley again, or
Goldberg wins the title against Lashley. Bill Lashley, business dominating monster who's destroying everybody. He's going to get beat in 20 seconds by Goldberg.
So check this out.
Because Goldberg didn't get beat. Goldberg didn't get beat, remember? He didn't tap out. He passed out. Doesn't count.
Come on. I'm sorry. It was a match stoppage. The referee stopped the match because
it doesn't count. I mean, it counts, but it doesn't count.
So in Vince's eyes, he had two matches left on his contract. Doesn't count.
Yep. Vince's eyes. You owe me more matches, pal.
Shit, he owed him that match from that last Crown Jewel. He was like, "Nah, you got to come back."
I'm proud. Hey, I'm gonna be honest though. I'm proud of Goldberg. I'm fucking super proud of Goldberg because he legit wore wrestling gear this time. He didn't come out in his fucking son's PE shorts.
Man,
Oh man. Yeah, you can always tell when a motherfucker don't care. Well, speaking of don't care, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for us to say goodbye.
speaking of don't care,
Oh man, I honestly love you guys, man. Like you guys have no idea how excited I am that every week I get to come on this podcast 3 times a week apparently and talk to you guys and just shoot the shit with you guys because you guys are family. You know, I can have like a really rough day like I've been having the last couple of days, and coming on this podcast talking to you guys always cheers me up, always makes me laugh. I have a good time with Julian. I have a good time with Adam Woods, Tony the Burn. Anybody that jumps on this podcast, we come here and we have a party. We're not like any other wrestling podcasts out there.
because you know what? That's what wrestling is supposed to be. You know, if you're a fan, the reason why you're a fan is probably because over the years, whether you had your ups and downs, your back and forths, family issues, work issues, whatever it is, you knew that for 2, 4, 6 hours during the week, you could put all that shit aside and go watch some professional wrestling and gripe about some silly shit that really doesn't matter, but you're still going to come back and watch it again anyway. And you just love it. It's entertainment. You enjoy it, and it's an escape, and it's something that I love talking about and have for years.
Well, man, it's always great to have someone on the podcast that's a true fan of this business like Julian. And Julian, why don't you let the people know where they can watch us on TV?
Oh man, you can tune into Xfinity and CenturyLink in the Portland, Oregon area Mondays at 10 p.m. on Channel 11, XFTV and CLTV. Tuesdays at 10 p.m. on Channel 22, XFTV, and Channel 8002, CLTV. And on Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. on Channel 23, Xfinity TV, and Channel 8003, CLTV.
That's right, man. We're everywhere on TV, ladies and gentlemen. And you know, if you want to do the cool thing that people are doing these days, you know, sometimes people want to support the channel. So if you want to support the channel, all you got to do is go to https://anchor.fm/the Roundtable podcast /support. Help your boys keep this podcast going 3 nights a week. We're going to do some fantasy shit. We're going to do all kind of crazy cool booking. We're going to have a watch party for AEW All Out. We're going to do all kind of crazy stuff, man. Like this podcast is here to help you guys get through the monotony of having to watch 4 hours of motherfucking Raw. Nick Khan, you are a sick bastard if you think people are going to watch Raw for 4 hours. But you never know. Some people might. People are crazy that way. You can find us on Twitter at the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast on Twitter. You can also find us on Facebook. Now, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. If you are outside of the Portland, Oregon area, the Pacific Northwest, so to speak, if you're in Texas, Tennessee, some of you guys watch this show all the way down in Bulgaria, and some of you guys watch this show in Bangladesh, Qatar, all the, Portugal. Thank you for tuning in every week. The downloads of this program on all the Spotify, Google, Anchor, all those places, Amazon Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, Google, Apple, all those crazy places. Breaker, Stitcher, all those crazy places that we're on. You guys download the fuck out of these episodes. And we love every second of doing it. We love coming on here and putting you guys over and entertaining you guys and helping you guys enjoy our crazy world of professional wrestling. That was a lot.
Don't forget to click, like, and subscribe.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can find us on these right here. Google, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and all those major podcast platforms. Look, we love you guys. Thank you very much for joining us. If you're interested in coming to the BCW Worldwide show, you can call this number for tickets, 503-757-3132. That's for ticket information. You can go to the bcwbooker@gmail.com, or you can go onto the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast Facebook page, because you know what we're going to do. If you're not in the local area and you want to watch the shows via pay-per-view.
What?
Via pay-per-view.
Streaming?
Streaming. We got you hooked up. If you want to watch this show and you can't travel all the way from Bangladesh to watch this show, don't even trip. We got you. Contact bcwbooker@gmail.com to find out more, or go on the Facebook page. The Facebook page is simple: Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. You go, you click like, you get permission to join the group. You get a special shit. You get behind the scenes footage of shows. You get to hang out with some of your favorite professional wrestlers. You get to talk to AEW, WWE, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, WoW Superstars, Glow. You get to talk to all these super talented guys that come on the podcast. They come on this podcast and do special interviews, like one with TJP, who just had a baby, by the way. His girlfriend, his fiance, Aria Blake. Congratulations on your new baby.
Congrats.
Yeah, TJ is a good friend of the channel. Known TJ for 20 years. You can click, and subscribe, and join the madness that is the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. Monday Night Mayhem, every Monday night here on the podcast, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Your boy, the franchise player, Double B Bablo. This dude right here, the chemical chemist, the man, the myth, the legend, Chemical Julian right there. He knows all, he sees all, he mixes shit up for work. With that being said, Julian,
once again, I'm
much
just a chemical engineer who happens to be a professional wrestling fan. Thanks for joining us, and keep on tuning in. Click, like, and subscribe.
Peace.